The moment a narcissist realizes they can no longer control your mind, your emotions, or your future, everything changes. The mask falls, the manipulation intensifies, and the person who once acted powerful suddenly becomes desperate. This is not because they discovered your value too late. It is because your silence exposed the one thing they feared most, losing access to the version of you that kept chasing their approval. In this message, you will discover the final manipulation narcissists use when they know they've lost you, and why walking away in silence becomes the greatest power move of your life. The day you stop chasing is the day the narcissist unleashes their final game. There comes a defining moment in every struggle between control and freedom when the person who once begged for your attention suddenly becomes silent, calculating, and desperate. That moment is not when you cry, not when you argue, and not when you try to explain your worth. It is the day you stop chasing. The day you finally withdraw your energy is the day the narcissist realizes the power they once held over your emotions is slipping through their fingers like sand carried away by the wind. For a long time, they survived on your reactions. Your need for understanding became the fuel for their confidence. Every text you sent, every apology you offered, and every sleepless night you spent trying to repair what they kept breaking gave them confirmation that they still controlled the direction of your heart. But the instant you become still, the instant you choose peace over pursuit, a silent alarm begins to ring inside them. That is when their final game begins. The narcissist cannot easily accept defeat because their identity is built upon domination, validation, and emotional influence. When they sense you are emotionally detaching, they often reveal the darkest version of themselves. Suddenly they may become charming again, saying everything you once prayed to hear. They may pretend to transform overnight, offering promises, affection, and emotional vulnerability they never showed before. Not because they discovered love, but because they fear losing access to your energy forever. And if kindness no longer works, they may turn toward confusion, guilt, blame, or even cruelty. They may attempt to make you question your memory, your value, and your future. They hope that if they shake your confidence hard enough, you will return to chasing them again. Because as long as you chase, they feel powerful. But this is the moment where your true transformation begins. The strongest people are not those who win every battle with force. The strongest people are those who master themselves when emotions attempt to drag them backward. Your silence becomes strength. Your boundaries become discipline. Your refusal to beg becomes evidence that your self-respect has awakened from its long sleep. You must understand something powerful. Every time you stop running after someone who enjoys your suffering, you reclaim a piece of your destiny. Your focus returns. Your confidence rebuilds. Your mind grows sharper because it is no longer trapped in emotional chaos. What once distracted you now becomes the very lesson that strengthens your future. The narcissist's final game is designed to test whether your growth is real. They want to see if one last emotional performance can pull you back into old chains. But people who discover their worth no longer need approval from those who failed to value them correctly. The day you stop chasing is not the day you lose someone important. It is the day you stop losing yourself. And when you finally choose your peace over their manipulation, you step into a new level of power where your future is no longer controlled by emotional hunger, but directed by vision, discipline, self-respect, and the unshakable understanding that your value never depended on someone else seeing it. When your silence breaks their control, their darkest tactics begin. There is a powerful shift that occurs the moment you stop reacting to manipulation. It is quiet on the outside, yet explosive beneath the surface. The narcissist who once controlled your emotions with words, guilt, confusion, and attention suddenly realizes that their influence is weakening. Your silence becomes more dangerous to them than your anger ever was, because silence is evidence that you are no longer emotionally dependent on their approval. For a long time they believed they understood your patterns. They knew how to provoke you, how to make you defend yourself, and how to pull you back whenever you tried to walk away. Your emotional responses became the proof of their control. Every explanation you offered fed their confidence. Every attempt to fix the relationship convinced them they still had access to your mind and spirit. But the day you choose silence, everything changes. Silence is not weakness. Silence is often the first sign of inner power. It means you no longer feel the need to prove your worth to someone committed to misunderstanding you. It means your mind has stopped seeking permission to feel valuable. And when the narcissist senses this shift, fear begins to grow inside them, because control is the foundation upon which they built the illusion of power. That fear drives them toward darker tactics. Suddenly, they may accuse you of becoming cold, selfish, or uncaring. They may spread false stories to damage your reputation. They may attempt to provoke jealousy, create emotional chaos, or remind you of your past mistakes in hopes of reopening old wounds. Some will even pretend to become the victim, hoping others will pressure you into returning to the role they assigned to you. Why do they do this? Because your silence removes the emotional supply they depended upon. Your peace becomes a mirror reflecting everything they can no longer control. And rather than face their own emptiness, they attempt to pull you back into emotional conflict where they once felt powerful. But this moment is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to reveal the strength you did not know you possessed. Great victories in life are rarely won through noise and confrontation. The greatest victories are won through discipline of the mind. The ability to remain calm while others attempt to shake your confidence is a sign that your spirit is evolving beyond emotional slavery. You must remember that every attack from a manipulative person is often proof that your freedom is becoming real. People who truly value you do not panic when you establish boundaries. Only those who benefited from your lack of boundaries become threatened by your growth. Your silence forces you to rediscover yourself. The energy once wasted on defending your worth now becomes fuel for your purpose, your vision, your health, and your future. What once drained you now teaches you discernment. What once weakened your confidence now sharpens your wisdom. And in time, you begin to understand a truth that changes everything. The narcissist was never fighting for love. They were fighting for control. The moment your silence breaks that control, their darkest tactics begin, because they can no longer reach the version of you that depended on them for validation. And when you continue walking forward without returning to the chaos, you prove something powerful to yourself: that your peace is more valuable than their approval, that your future is more important than their games, and that the strongest person in the room is often the one who no longer feels the need to fight for attention, explain their worth, or beg to be treated with respect, because true power begins the moment you master yourself and refuse to surrender your mind to anyone who survives by keeping you emotionally weak. The moment you reclaim your power, the narcissist reveals their true face. There comes a moment in life when the confusion finally disappears and your vision becomes clear. It is the moment you stop doubting yourself, stop begging for honesty, and stop shrinking your value to keep someone else comfortable. The instant you reclaim your power is the instant the narcissist begins to lose theirs. And when that happens, the mask they wore so carefully can no longer remain in place. For a long time, they appeared confident, charming, and in control. They spoke in ways that made you question your instincts while trusting theirs. They mastered the art of creating emotional dependence. They wanted you focused on pleasing them rather than discovering your own strength. As long as you remained uncertain about your worth, they could continue shaping your emotions according to their desires. But power changes hands the moment awareness enters the mind. The day you begin valuing your peace more than their approval, something remarkable happens inside you. You stop reacting to every criticism. You stop explaining yourself to someone determined to misunderstand you. You stop chasing validation from a person who only offered affection when it benefited their control. And in that moment, your silence speaks louder than every argument you once tried to win. This is the moment the narcissist reveals their true face. Why? Because manipulation only works when confusion is alive. The moment clarity enters your spirit, their performance begins to collapse. Suddenly the person who once appeared calm may become angry, bitter, jealous, or desperate. They may accuse you of changing. They may attempt to guilt you for setting boundaries they once ignored. They may even mock your growth because your confidence reminds them of the control they no longer possess. The truth is simple. Your awakening becomes a threat to anyone who depended on your weakness. Many people believe power comes from dominance over others, but true power is mastery over yourself. The ability to remain calm while someone tries to provoke you is strength. The ability to walk away from emotional chaos is wisdom. The ability to choose your future over temporary emotional attachment is the beginning of greatness. Every difficult experience carries a hidden lesson. The narcissist may have entered your life to teach you the value of discernment. They may have pushed you toward discovering boundaries you never knew you needed. Through pain, your spirit learned independence. Through disappointment, your mind gained clarity. And through emotional struggle, your character became stronger than it had ever been before. The most dangerous moment for a manipulative person is not when you hate them. It is when you no longer need them to define your value. That freedom terrifies them because it places your future back into your own hands. You begin to realize that your energy is precious. Your attention is valuable. Your emotions are not meant to be wasted on endless cycles of confusion and control. Once you reclaim your confidence, you stop feeding people who survive on draining your spirit. And as you continue walking forward, a powerful truth becomes clear. The narcissist's true face was never revealed when they felt powerful. It was revealed the moment they could no longer control you, because when someone truly loves you, your growth inspires them. But when someone only loves control, your growth exposes them. And the day you reclaim your power becomes the day your life finally begins moving in the direction of purpose, peace, self-respect, and the unstoppable confidence that comes from knowing you no longer belong to the opinions, manipulations, or emotional games of anyone who failed to see your true worth. Once they realize you're gone for good, they make one last desperate move. There is a moment in every battle between manipulation and self-respect when the balance suddenly shifts. It is the moment the narcissist realizes that your heart is no longer available for control, not temporarily distant, not emotionally confused, truly gone. And when they finally understand that you are no longer chasing, pleading, or waiting for their validation, they often make one last desperate move to regain the power they feel slipping away. For a long time, they believed your loyalty guaranteed their access to you. They assumed your kindness would always reopen the door no matter how many times they closed it in your face. Your patience became predictable to them. Your forgiveness became a tool they expected to use whenever necessary. They grew comfortable believing that no matter how far they pushed you, you would remain emotionally attached. But people change when pain teaches them the value of peace. The day you stop seeking love from someone who only offered confusion is the day your inner strength begins to rise. You no longer feel the need to explain your worth. You no longer chase closure from the person who created the chaos. Instead of reacting emotionally, you begin focusing on your future, your goals, your healing, and your purpose. That transformation becomes impossible for the narcissist to ignore. And once they realize you are truly leaving for good, Desperation begins to replace confidence. Suddenly they may return with unexpected kindness. They may apologize with emotional intensity they never showed before. They may remind you of old memories, speak about destiny, or promise change with convincing passion. Some will attempt to create emergencies just to pull your attention back toward them. Others may provoke jealousy, spread guilt, or try to make you fear losing them forever. Why? Because they are not reacting to the loss of control they once had over your emotions. A manipulative person struggles most when they can no longer predict your reactions. Your silence becomes unfamiliar. Your boundaries become unbreakable. Your peace becomes proof that you are discovering life beyond their influence. And that realization forces them into one final attempt to reclaim what they thought would always belong to them. But this moment is not a sign to turn back. It is a test of the strength you have built. Every great achievement in life requires emotional discipline. Anyone can move forward when the path is easy. True strength appears when the past comes knocking with familiar temptations disguised as love. Your future depends on whether you honor your growth or surrender to old emotional chains. You must remember that people who truly care about your well-being do not wait until they are losing you to suddenly value your presence. Genuine love brings consistency, respect, honesty, and peace. Manipulation brings confusion, instability, and emotional exhaustion. The greatest victory is not proving your value to someone who failed to appreciate it. The greatest victory is finally recognizing your value yourself. Once you understand this truth, your entire life changes. Your standards rise, your confidence deepens. Your energy stops flowing toward those who drain your spirit and begins building the future you were meant to create. The pain that once weakened you becomes the wisdom that protects you. And as you continue walking forward without looking back, you begin to understand something powerful. Their final desperate move was never proof that they loved you deeply. It was proof that they never expected you to discover your own power. Because the moment you truly leave behind manipulation, self-doubt, and emotional dependency is the moment you stop surviving and start becoming the person you were always destined to be, with a mind focused on purpose, a spirit strengthened by struggle, and a heart no longer willing to trade peace for temporary attention. The final manipulation every narcissist uses when they know they've lost you. There comes a defining moment when the narcissist realizes the influence they once held over your emotions is no longer working. The conversations that once pulled you into confusion no longer affect your peace. The silence they used to punish you no longer creates fear. The emotional games that once exhausted your spirit suddenly lose their power because you have awakened to your value.